welcome back. As you can tell from the title, we're just going to be running through my favorite products of 2018. I'm pretty sure none of these are going to be a surprise to you guys. I don't think they are. I'm a creature of habit. You guys kind of sort of know that about me already. So I don't think that anything is going to be too much of a surprise. I will say that even though I am going to be using my favorite products from this year, I will be throwing out a couple of other items that came in really, really close, but like they couldn't really edge out my favorites. So I'm just going to throw them out there. Now, also, while we're doing this, I'm going to be doing a little bit of a chit chat with you guys, just because, I don't know, I feel like you guys know me, but y'all don't really know me. So I just kind of want to give you guys a little chit chat, a little bit of an entree into, you know, what makes me me. So if you want to see that, stick around. And while you're sticking around, maybe hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and leave a comment in the comment section below. And seriously, I'm going to be talking about some pretty, I don't want to say serious, but like serious to me and important to me things while I'm doing this. So, you know, feel free to go ahead and leave any kind of comment in the comment section. Don't feel like judged or anything, not at all. But yeah, go ahead and do that, and it's going to be coming up right now. So like I said, I had one of my favorite items here in my hand as I was introing this video, and it is the Tatcha Silk Canvas Primer. However, and this is odd for me because I generally speaking don't like matte primers, but the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop primer has become another favorite, so I tend to use both of them together, so that's what I'm going to do right now. But yeah, so like I was saying, I kind of sort of wanted to talk to you guys about some stuff, because I don't know, like I'm on Twitter a lot, and you know, people are like mad depressed. I don't know if it's just the season or everything is going wrong in people's lives, but it just feels like everybody's depressed lately. But yeah, so something you guys might not know about me is that I have bipolar disorder, specifically bipolar 2. If you guys don't, oh, by the way, let me just put this out here. There's probably going to be a little bit of cussing in this video because, truth be told, I do cuss a lot. I really do. Anyone that knows me knows that I cuss a lot, but I generally speaking don't do that in my videos because it's one of those things kind of where it's kind of like music. Like, yeah, I cuss a lot, but when I'm listening to music, I really don't want to hear it, if that makes sense. So I kind of keep that same kind of energy here when I'm doing videos. But if I'm going to be real and candid with y'all today, then I'm just going to have to let a little bit of that part of my personality come out. So I kind of wanted to like warn you about that before, you know, you're just like, oh my god, she's cussing up a storm. Alright, so I didn't have a new concealer this year. As a matter of fact, I actually went to Walgreens yesterday and re-upped on my my Wet n Wild concealer, because that's kind of what I use for everything, to prime my lids and also to do my under eyes, but I use two to do my under eyes. I have bipolar disorder. I was diagnosed when I was like 19, and I've pretty much been living with it for that long. And before I knew what it was that was causing like me to feel the way that I was, it was just like really scary and confusing. So when I finally got diagnosed, it was actually kind of great, because I could then put a name to it and, you know, get a treatment plan or whatever. So honestly, when I hear people say shit like, oh my god, he's so bipolar, that's like really offensive to me, because honestly, if your friend is acting in a way where you think that they are actually bipolar, then that means they're about to crash and burn, and you should probably get them help and not make fun of them. But there are two different kinds of bipolar. There's bipolar 1, which is characterized by mixed episodes of manic behavior and also episodes of depression. Bipolar 2 is the same kind of mixed episodes, but instead of mania, there's this thing called hypomania, which is like a lesser version of the mania that people with bipolar 1 experience. So, for instance, if you're suffering from mania, you can probably go like a while without sleep, basically. You can do things and not really have any memory of doing them. You can spend a lot of money and like not know that you're spending that much money, and then when you come out of it, it's pretty bad. So I typically don't have a lot of episodes of mania, and that's typical for bipolar 2. I may have 1 or 2 a year, maybe, if that much. Usually just maybe about 1. But I do get depressive episodes quite a bit. So it's so weird because I feel like this is supposed to be happy, but I feel like I'm kind of sort of bringing you guys down as well. But anyway, so it should be no surprise to you that these two are my favorite palettes of the year. The Norvina palette and the Urban Decay Born to Run. The only reason the Norvina palette edged out the Urban Decay palette is simply because I prefer cool tone shades. So that's what we're going to be using today. Alright, so what was I saying? I was saying I tend to have more depressive episodes than manic episodes. But I do have manic episodes. Well, I do have hypomanic episodes. The longest I've ever gone on a hypomanic episode was probably about 7 days, where I didn't sleep for 7 days. And that one happened years and years ago. I want to say probably about 2013 or something like that. In the summertime, I generally have milder forms of manic episodes, and by that I mean, for the most part in the summertime, I don't remember my summers because the stimuli is too much for me. The sunshine, the stimuli is too much for me, so I can't really focus. When I lived in New York, it wasn't bad when I lived in New York, because there's so much more going on in New York that you don't have time to give in to the mania, if that makes sense. Like, it takes so much more to live in New York. Like, there's so much going on, like you really have to like focus when you're in New York. And so I didn't have the opportunity to kind of give into the mania, if that makes sense. Like, I'm probably not making a whole lot of sense, but hopefully you understand what I'm saying. But since I've moved to Georgia, like, New York in general was a lot better for me in terms of controlling my bipolar for a number of reasons. For one, in New York, I had health insurance, because even if I wasn't working, I was in school. I was doing my master's in school, and New York State, well, I don't know about New York State, but in New York City, you can get Medicaid if you're a full-time student at one of the city universities. So I was able to get insurance through my school. But here, since I've moved to this dreadful backwards ass state, I haven't had any insurance. Even working with Starbucks, don't believe the hype about the Starbucks insurance. It's really not what they tell you that it is. But in any case, luckily for me, I'm pretty aware, and I'm pretty self-aware as well. So I know my triggers, right? I know my triggers, and a good way for me to actually thrive while not being medicated is routines. And I have a lot of routines that I try to stick to, because anything else can kind of throw me into chaos. So yeah, I want to say for the last probably since March, I've been really depressed, like a lot, like more than what is normal for me, and just kind of like hopeless and despairing and stuff. Like, sometimes, you know, when I tell you guys that I'm busy, I am busy, but sometimes it's really hard to actually get up and sit in front of a camera and actually film, because I can't, there are days when I literally can't get out of bed, like literally cannot get out of bed. But one of the reasons why I started doing videos for YouTube and stuff is because actually getting in front of a camera, not even necessarily getting in front of a camera, but actually the act of like putting on my makeup and like making something happen, creating something, usually makes me feel better, even if it's just in the short term. So, you know, my makeup addiction becomes something else, which benefits me, and it benefits, I guess, you guys too, because, you know, I do reviews on the stuff that I buy when I'm slightly depressed or whatever, and then, you know, you guys know whether or not you should spend your coin on it. So I think it kind of sort of works out for everybody. I think it works out probably better for me than for you guys. I don't know, you tell me. Sorry, I had to go off camera and do this eye, like I keep telling you guys, it needs extra TLC. But anyway, like I was saying, so for like the last since probably like March, like I said, I've been getting increasingly more and more depressed because, number one, I was working at Starbucks, and the store that I was working in was, oh my god, I'm talking about literally everybody in that store is miserable because our manager was trash and the store was trash and just everything was just terrible. And a friend of mine explained to me the other day, like, I at first I was great, you know, I was doing everything, but after a while I wound up getting fired from one of my contracts because I was so depressed that I actually couldn't do anything, and I'm talking about freelance contract. I was so depressed that I couldn't actually do anything. I would sit down and I would try to write, and it just, nothing would come, and it was just, it was bad. That is the main reason why I quit, because I was depressed. I mean, I was depressed to the point where I was having suicidal ideation, and that's when I knew I needed to get the hell out of there, because it was that bad. But yeah, that's why I quit, and that's why I would probably never ever go back. And you know, it's not just my store. That store was bad in and of itself, but it's just Starbucks culture, because like literally every Starbucks that I've worked at, and I've worked at a few, I've moved around to different stores just trying to find a store that didn't suck, basically. But literally every Starbucks store that I've worked at, that's what it is. And it's the company. It's not the partners, because honestly the reason why I stayed at my store as long as I did was because I absolutely adored the people that I worked with. They were wonderful people, and I'm talking a bunch of really great, creative, witty, smart, talented people. Just wonderful people that actually made it okay to be there. But then you leave work and you come home, and then you realize that you have to go back there, and you have a friggin' anxiety attack because you have to go back into that shitty environment. So yeah, I was just kind of done. So to no one's surprise, my favorite foundation of the year is the Dior Undercover foundation. Y'all know, okay. However, I will say that if we were talking about drugstore foundations, the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop foundation is my favorite drugstore foundation of this year. And I've tried a few drugstore foundations. I probably didn't tell you guys about them, but I did try them. The Laura Geller foundation also came pretty close. If it wasn't so dewy, I may use it more, but you know, this Dior foundation is kind of where it's at for me. You guys know that. What was I saying now? I feel like I'm bringing you guys down, and I really don't want to. But I don't know. I just felt like I was being disingenuous. And I try to be a very honest person, honest to the point of sometimes I can be a little bit too honest, I've been told. But I do try to be honest in like all my interactions with people, because I feel like people deserve that. Yeah, I don't want And I really don't like people around me who like don't tell the truth and stuff like that, and who aren't honest with themselves about things. So I do try to be as honest as I possibly can be about everything, because like I said, I feel like people deserve that. But anyway, I was saying that was the reason why I love Starbucks, because it was getting to the point where being there was actually kind of sort of making me suicidal. So, well, not actually, kind of sort of, it was like I was literally thinking about it like every other day. Like, oh, things would be so much better if I wasn't even here anymore type shit, and you know, that shit just not cool. I realized what was happening, and I decided to quit. And like I said, when I was living in New York, I didn't have these problems, for one thing, because like I said, living in New York requires a level of concentration and the ability to be completely self-absorbed, because you really can't be self-absorbed living in New York. There are too many people there. Like, you literally cannot be a self-absorbed person living in New York unless you want to stay in your house all the time, because there's just too many people. There's too many interactions that happen daily. So, you know, being here where I generally do not have to interact with people unless it's in like a service capacity at Starbucks where they're being rude and bitchy and condescending, where I'm literally ready to rip somebody's fucking face off. Yeah, that's not the kind of interaction that I'm talking about. So, yeah, you're probably saying to yourself, well, if everything was so much better in New York, well, why didn't you stay in New York? Well, someone really close to me died. I'm going to preface this by saying that I have a huge family, and I fucking hate most of them. With the exception of my nephew and my nieces. I don't really like any of them. But the person that died happened to be one other person that I really, really liked. Loved. I think. I have this weird concept of love. So, yeah. But anyway, he died, and my world pretty much shattered. I was 2 classes away from getting my master's, and he died the day before my midterm started, and I crashed and burned. I flamed out of school in, you know, the most epic way possible, because, you know, I don't do nothing halfway. I'm extra. So that happened, and I just like sank into grief, like really bad grief. And when my mother and my sister said, come down to Georgia, you know, whatever, you need to be around your family. Me, not remembering that, oh, I hate my family. I was like, yeah, I need to be around my family. So I came here, and it's been 5 years of kind of like hell, honestly. I am absolutely miserable here, and literally the only thing that makes me happy is actually sitting here and creating content for people to see. And I'm really happy when I look at my videos and I see that I get views. Sometimes, like, if I put like a lot of work into a video and then it doesn't get any views, I might get a little bit sad about it, but there are so many options out here, and on the one hand, I'm doing it for you guys, but on the other hand, I'm also doing it for myself because it helps me. So this right here is what kind of sort of keeps me going, that my nieces. Okay, so once again, no one is surprised that the favorite powders of the year are the Huda Easy Bake powders. I literally have not used anything else since I got these powders. But yeah, so nobody's surprised by that. Anyway, so what was I saying? Like, I hope you guys aren't like, oh my god, why is this girl word vomiting all over us? You know, her personal business. It's not even really about that. It's just like, like I said, I'm pretty honest, and I felt disingenuous because, like, I know everybody seems to be having a really hard time right now. You know, I'm not really sure why. It might, like I said, it might just be the season, you know, cyclothymia or whatever. But people seem to be having a very difficult time, and whatever I can do to help, I guess. Like I said, I'm working on some stuff to try to get me back to New York. Because otherwise, I don't know what's going to happen to me here. Like, I just literally hate this state. I hate the anti-intellectualism of it. I hate the cronyism of it. Yeah, just everything about this state is trash. And like I said, if not for grief, I would not have moved here at all. Okay, so it's so weird. I'm like switching from a kind of depressing topic to, you know, kind of, hey! But anyway, so my favorite blush of the year is, was a surprise to me, and it's the Shiseido blush, which, yeah, I was really surprised that I actually liked this blush because I wasn't expecting that from Shiseido, not at all. Not at all. So I didn't necessarily have a favorite highlighter this year. One, because I'm not really like a highlighter kind of chick, but I figured since I was using the Shiseido, I would go ahead and use the Shiseido highlighter, which seems to have, okay. I really did like this highlighter. I think I was more surprised by it than anything else. And I'm like continuously surprised every time I use it. Anyway, if you guys want to ask me any questions about the stuff that I've been talking about, feel free to go ahead and do that in the comment section. Like, I'm pretty much an open book. Always have been. Pretty much always will be. Like, I'm an open book. There's really nothing like that I consider to be like off limits, I guess. Mostly because I feel like people can learn from everything. Like, everyone can learn from everything. And I feel like it's our job on this planet to kind of like help out our fellow humans as much as we possibly can. Like, if that's not what we're put here for, then what's the point? So, like, if anybody has questions about anything, like if you want to know more about bipolar disorder, anything at all, feel free to ask, because I'll answer. So if you've seen me use any lipstick this year, it's usually this, 9 times out of 10 it's this Huda Beauty liquid lipstick in Spice Girl. This is literally my favorite lipstick, like, for everything. It's a little bit warm. It's a little bit warmer than I'd like it to be, but it's still bomb. 2 other lipsticks though did come close, and I don't think I shared them with you. One of them was from Colored Rain. It's the color Soul. It looks like Spice Girl, but it is more cool toned, which I prefer. So it looks like that. And the other one is from Dose of Colors and is called Cold Shoulder. It's more purpley, but it is also more cool toned. The only reason why I don't wear the Colored Rain one more than the Huda one is simply because it is very, it's not comfortable. It's really, really not comfortable. The Huda one is quite comfortable, even though it's a little bit warm. I'll give you a comparison so you can see what they look like. So this is the Huda one right here, and then this is the one from Dose of Colors. Like, Huda one is still wet, so it still looks like a completely different color. But when they dry down, they look very similar, with this one just being a lot cooler than this one is. But it's just not comfortable, so I'm actually going to wear this one. Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to mix them. So now it's comfortable because of the Huda, but it's a little bit more cool because of the Colored Rain. Alright guys, this is it. Thanks for joining me for my little get ready with me using my favorite products of 2018. Honorable mention goes out to the Marc Jacobs powder, even though I haven't used it since I got my Huda powders. It's still a great powder. The Huda powders just kind of blow everything else out of the water. Sorry if you don't like Huda, but I'm not a stan, but her stuff is good. It just is. Like, anyway, honorable mention goes out to Huda. Not Huda, sorry, Marc Jacobs. So there's that. What else? Yeah, that's kind of all of that I can think about right now. Oh no, lipsticks. Honorable mention goes out to all the Sephora lipsticks. I was actually gonna probably use one of them today. This one is my favorite out of all of them. What's it called again? Off Limits. This is my favorite one. You guys know I like a grayed out purple, so no surprise, something else. But yeah, that's it, guys. 2018 in terms of makeup was, whoo, child. It was a lot. We had so many controversies. YouTubers getting canceled, brands getting canceled. Whew. Well, all right. So, thank you guys for joining me. And like I said, I made this video the format that it is and talking about the things that I'm talking about because I know somewhere out there is someone who is probably or has probably been feeling the same way that I've been feeling, like despondent and just kind of like hopeless, or like sometimes I feel hopeless, but most of all I feel stuck. But I just kind of wanted to give you guys like a better idea of who I am, and a better idea of what motivates me to do the videos that I do. It's self-care. A lot of it is self-care. I know a lot of you watch videos also for self-care. Even if it's just like, you know, one video here, one video there. And like I said, I'm always really grateful when you guys comment on the videos, because for me, it's interaction, you know what I mean? And I'm used to interaction because like I'm from a huge city with people who interact daily, and out here it's not the same. Like sitting in a car and going somewhere, that's not interacting with people to me. You know, I'm used to like having conversations with perfect strangers on a train. So being able to like interact with you guys through your comments and stuff is like really good for me, and I really enjoy it. Except for those of you that are rude and condescending. Like, what's the point of that? I don't get it. Anyway, so that's why I made this video. I wanted to give you guys a better idea of who I am, whose channel it is that you guys have subscribed to. I'm pretty easygoing, I guess. I'm pretty laid back, for the most part. I'm sarcastic as hell. I cuss a lot. I do. And that's me, Cleo. That's it. But thank you guys for joining me for this little, you know, get ready with me. I wasn't going to go anywhere, like I said, but yeah. Thank you for joining me. And like I said, if you have any questions about anything, like literally, you guys can ask me anything. If you have any questions about anything, just like leave it in the comment section, and I will definitely answer your questions. If you have something super personal that you don't want to leave in a comment section, you can DM me on Twitter. My DMs are open on Twitter. Don't DM me on Instagram. Like the last couple of days, people have been DMing me on Instagram. If I don't know you on Instagram, I'm not going to answer your DMs. Just, there's too many scammers on Instagram, and I just can't. So if you want to ask me something personal, just DM me on Twitter. My handle is in the description box below. And yeah, I hope I'll see you guys next time. Bye.